Enabler. This is your mentor SP. Today we are going to discuss about the Postman and API and how to call different type of APIs using the Postman. So first of all, what is Postman? So Postman is an API testing and development tool, and we can use the Postman to send the HTTP request like get, post, put, delete, etc. To APIs and view the responses. And Postman also supports REST APIs, SOAP APIs, and GraphQL APIs also. So, what are the different key features of the Postman? So, we can compose and send API requests using the Postman. And we can also set the environment variables where we can store and reuse the variables. Example, base URL. And if you are using a tokens, you can set the tokens as a environment variables. And you can also create a collection like, so if you are testing multiple APIs, you can group the requests together for organization and reuse. And you can share those collection with your colleagues so that they don't need to set the environment variables, data, etc. So, like you can do a lot of things and you can create a sample test code using the Postman. Um, so these are the key features of the Postman. And so let's discuss about the common use cases. So we can use the Postman using the API development and testing and debugging API issues. Like let's say if customer is saying this API is not giving the expected results. So this tool, Postman, is used to debug the API issues. You can also automate the regression tests and you can also create some API documentation and you can also mocking the API responses. So these are the common use cases where you can use the Postman. So there are two kind of Postman instances. You can use a off like a Postman installer on your Windows machine, or you can use a cloud version of the Postman. So the advantage of the cloud version is like you can create a collection and you can save with your login account. In this case, it's a Google account or your organization account, and so you can access that collection of the APIs from anywhere. So that's the advantage of the cloud version of the Postman. So let's get started with some examples. So to understand this, first of all, we need to know a little bit about the REST APIs. Um, so there are some open REST APIs are available with the HTTP methods like get, post, put. So here is the one example of the um, website where you can play with a couple of the APIs. So here you can see get, and this is the API URL. And here you can see the sample response of that. So these are the free APIs. You can, like, since you are playing and learning the Postman, you can use these APIs to test different methods, and you can try with post, put, and patch, etc. So these are the ready-made available APIs. So in your organization, some developer may be creating the new APIs, but in this case, it's just like we are using some existing APIs for our understanding purpose. So coming back to the Postman, so currently, if you go to the Postman, you can see different HTTP methods and we'll just understand what are the different HTTP methods are available and their purpose. So get is generally used to retrieve the data. Let's go to the Postman just for understanding. So if I open the cloud version of the Postman, so it's a web.postman.co, and I just created a tech enabler collection. And here are the couple of examples of the API. But mainly we are seeing here the option like these are the different HTTP methods available in the post with this REST API. So generally get means it's used to fetch the data from the server read only. You cannot do any changes. So the next one is the post. So post is create a resource means you if you want to send data to the server to create a new resource, then you need to use the post method. The third one is the put method. So if you want to update or replace a resource, replace the entire resource with a new data, then you need to use the post method. So the next one is patch. So suppose if you want to partially update the resource, then you need to use the patch method. The next one is the delete. So remove a resource, like you created a resource and the next you want to delete it, you can use this delete HTTP method. So head is the method to retrieve the headers only, same as get, but without the body. Use it to check if a resource exists. So those kind of scenarios, you will use the head method. It's just to check whether the resources exist or not. So the last one is the options. So check the supported methods, like what are the options available. So this will return the HTTP method supported by the server for a URL. So if you are playing with this URL, what are the available options available with this particular URL? So you will get those options. So yeah, so we'll go one by one. These are the available HTTP methods. Then so suppose let's say if I go to the first example, so list of all objects. So this particular REST API is going to give the all the resources available at this particular URL. So I'm just I selected the method as get, and if I hit the send button, so this is the response in a JSON format. So what I'm getting it's a collection of the records in a JSON format. So here ID is 1 and name, Google Pixel and Pro, and some data elements like what is the color of that particular Google Pixel mobile and what is the capacity. So similarly, you will get the all the records in an array format of array. It's a collection of entries in a JSON format. So you will see this is the total number of records available. So we are using a publicly available REST APIs. So there is a limitation. So it's only showing 18 records in this case. I hope you understand. Like it's a get method, it requires a URL, and when you hit the send button, you will get the status code 200. Okay, so there are some different status codes are available in with this REST API. So 200 means okay, and so if you are trying to play with the different type of other APIs, so 201, which means resource created successfully. And so if it is a 400 category, so bad request. 401, it's a unauthorized. 403, which is a common API status code, forbidden. So authenticated, but access is not access is denied. So during that you will get the status code as 403. 404, not found, means you are trying to find some resource, but that resource does not exist. So similarly, there are 500 codes, like 500 means internal server error, 502 bad gateway, and 503 service unavailable. So these are the different status codes. But if your API is good and it's giving data, then usually you will get the status code as 200 and okay. So this is the list of all objects. So you'll need to remember it's a get API and just giving the all the existing objects. So next, let's go to the next list of object by IDs. So here only the difference is you are seeing a query string, there is a question mark, and then we are passing the ID is equal to 3 and ampersand ID. It's a couple of IDs we are passing. So it's also similar to get API, only the difference is instead of getting the entire objects, we are fetching only the required objects. In this case, ID number 3, ID number 5, ID number 10. So I just, to save some time, I already hit the send button. So it's a 200 okay. So 711 milliseconds. So we got the response in a few seconds. So here in the response, you will see ID 3 record and number 2 ID 5 record and the third one is the ID 10. So these are the three records, three IDs we requested. We got the three and the status is 200, which looks good. And the third one, so here you are seeing objects and 7. We are instead of giving the multiple IDs, we are just giving the one single ID number 7. So it's also get API and we got the 7 record 7 related data. So name of that particular phone, Apple MacBook Pro 16 device. So, and date and some attributes related to that particular device. So, these are the different variants of the GET APIs. So, all are just getting the data from the server, and it's a read only. We cannot do any changes to that data. So this is all about the GET APIs. So we can fetch the data from server, read only, and we cannot do any changes to the existing data. So the next one is important, and we need to try to understand bit carefully. So post method. Here you will see I selected post, and the URL here you will see API RESTful api.dev. So this is the common host name. And here you will see objects. If you notice in get, all objects is also same. And in post also it's same. Only method is changed from get to post. And the one more important thing to remember here is, so there is a body section. So here params, authentication, authorization, and some headers, and then body. So body, I selected raw and JSON. So I am passing the body for this API in a JSON format. So that's why I selected these things. So here what I'm saying, what I'm passing is I am sending this data in a JSON format to this server to create a new object. I just executed this few seconds back. So it took 723 milliseconds. I got the response as 200 and the new object is created. There is a ID is also associated with this record. So the remaining data, name, whatever the name I passed, and the data block is also same 2025 5000 and CPU model Intel Core 19. So the same data, only the additional details we are getting in the response is the ID. So it's a unique identifier uh, to differentiate the different records. So previously we saw ID as 7 10 3, but so Here it is giving a alphanumeric ID. So whatever it's a small or big, its ID is a unique identifier to locate the resource. So this is all about the post method. So now moving on, put method. So as I explained in the beginning, so put and post. Post is to create a new resource and put is to update or replace a resource. Replace the entire resource with a new data. So um, here is another example to demonstrate this example, post put method. So here also one difference is I'm giving the ID. So whatever the ID we just created in the post method, I selected this ID and I'm passing that ID in the URL. So objects and then ID means I'm pointing to one single object in the objects collection. And the next important thing is I'm also passing the body as a JSON. So here I just updated tech enabler new entry plus update. So this is the extra information I'm passing, and I just changed the price to from 5,000 to 10,000. So that's it. Like I'm passing the entire thing, and now if I hit this particular one, so ID is going to be the same, but the other parameters are updated. Like previously it is a 5,000, now it changed to 10,000, and name is also updated. So status code got 200, resource got updated internally. So that's the simple, but you need to understand the difference carefully, because in the interviews or any entry or lateral, all the interview questions are based on this particular one. The difference between post and put is important. Now moving on. So the next one is patch. Moving on to the patch one. So patch is partially update a resource. So update a part of an existing resource. It's a less data intensive than put. So input we are passing more data in a body, but here is it's a less data intensive. So here the URL is going to be same. This is the host name again and objects, and then the ID which I created few minutes back, and in the same body section. So instead of passing the whole collection of the object, I'm just passing a one attribute name, and I also updated with patching example. So this is the additional piece of information I'm passing with this request. I'm going to change the object name for this particular ID. So I just hit the send button. I got the response 200, and this is the response object. So ID is same and the name is changed from patching example. So remaining date updated few seconds back, and remaining data attributes are same. So this is the simple example of the patch. And um, so the next one is the last one, delete. So delete is nothing but if you want to delete or remove a resource, delete resource on the server. So this is the same example, only the method is changed, and the same host name and objects. I am giving a single object. So this is the object I want to delete from the server. I'm not passing anything on the body. I'm just clicking on this send button. So let's see what's going to happen. So object with ID has been deleted and status code is 200. So it's executed in 1.3 seconds. So whatever the object we created few seconds back, few minutes back, and whatever the object we updated, patched, the same object I just removed from the server. So if I go back to the get the object, let's say, so this object ID, control C, and if I go to the single object to get method, which we tried in few minutes back. So if I send a get request. Let's see. The object with ID was not found. Means we executed a deleted API which deleted the resource from the server. Now I'm trying to get the same object. Server is saying that the object with ID was not found. So this is the overall usage of the Postman and REST APIs with different HTTP methods and status code. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you.